Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. In this series, we share experiences, knowledge, and learnings from real estate investors and experts to empower you to build your personalized real estate investing strategy. If you enjoy this podcast, please hit that like button and subscribe. I would love that. That would really help us to get you getting these updates as they come in. My name is Debbie Balfour, and I'm a real estate investing professional and a success coach. I coach real estate investors to build their personalized real estate investing strategy and scale efficiently so you can start enjoying not just financial freedom, but time freedom, which is what we're all doing this for. We're all unique, so our strategies need to be unique to us. Today's guest is an extraordinary individual who has truly mastered the art of designing of life and portfolio on purpose. I'm thrilled to introduce to you Martin Ouellet, who is a 26-year Canadian Army veteran, a seasoned real estate investor, a business coach, a realtor, and a co-founder of the Kingston, Ontario Investor Club. Martin serves as the Director General of Moving Heroes, a unique initiative that connects active military members, retirees, and first responders with veteran real estate agents across Canada, all while supporting families in need through impactful charitable collaborations. Since 2008, Martin has used his deep knowledge of real estate investing to create opportunities for buyers, sellers, and investors, helping them build wealth and scale their portfolios. Armed with an MBA from Ottawa University, Ottawa U, let me say this right, Ottawa U's Telford School of Management, Martin's a powerhouse in corporate marketing and personal branding, equipping passive and active investors with the tools to strive and thrive in today's market. As an owner of Continuum Real Estate, Martin has built a thriving residential real estate ecosystem and continues to give back to his community through programs that uplift families in need. We will dive into his inspiring journey and discuss how his life by his design and about portfolio management. So let's get started. Martin, tell us a little bit more about your journey in real estate.
Thank you, Debbie, for having me. It's the second time we have a chance to be on a podcast together. It's been a while, so thanks for reaching out and say, hey, what's happening, what's new. For those that listen to past podcasts or either Debbie's or the other ones, yes, I did start real estate when I was active duty, full-time regular force in the Canadian Forces, and that dates back to 2008. And exploring for a few years and moving back to Kingston, Ontario, where I basically started my career after Royal Military College at the university. I came back here in 2013 and moved my activities, my portfolio, and built portfolio of real estate investment, mainly focusing on Kingston since the last few years. That led to experiencing different approaches to real estate, different strategies. We can mix those, but definitely follow what the market offers and what is best for growth and to meet our personal and family and group objectives.
Excellent. So Martin, tell me what you mean by life by design. What does that mean?
The best way to explain it is that if you don't take the time to think about it, dream of what your perfect life looks like, life will take over. Other people will dictate what is going to like to happen. I read it. I shared a quote last month about you're writing the story of your life. Make sure you're the one holding the pen. And basically, life by design is that image that who is writing your life. Who is writing what's going to happen to you today, what's going to happen to you tomorrow, and who is going to make sure that the story ends up where you'd like it to end. You do not control everything, but you can certainly influence yourself, influence your sphere, join a new sphere of people, and strive to towards what you really want to do in life and which impact and for who you want to be the best.
I love that. Be the author of your own life. So many times we kind of just shrug our shoulders and go, "Oh well, this happened. Oh well." you know?
Exactly.
So so yes, definitely. I love that. So if you were to divide your real estate investing, your real estate journey into phases, what would those phases look like?
I think at the beginning, well, first I took a decision and I started to act. But if I have to define that first phase, it's a bit like when you reach your 20s after school, and what I recommend my kids to do, explore. Exploration and learn the basics. If you practice the discipline, like being karate or hockey, you do not start the big game in the big championship right away. You start by exploring, having a dream, winning the Stanley Cup, uh, and then you get on the ice and you allow yourself to discover what you're good at, what you are less good at, what are the different techniques, approaches. Then you need to pick: am I going to play offense, defense, or goalie? Am I going to play for fun in a house league, or I'm going to make the step and try out for competition? So you see the level of intensity, which activity you're going to do, with which group you're going to do it. This is not taught in any schools. And I think that the young age in real estate investing is exploration and learning those basics.
Definitely. I
Yeah,
love that. And I think the biggest part, like you just said about be the author of your life, is to explore who you are. Like that's the first most important thing. Like you were saying, like, are you going to be a goalie? What are your skills? Like understanding you as a real estate investor. So I think that's a
exactly.
very good point. What would phase two be?
To be able, but phase two would probably would be build something. You need to take action and you need to grow. So exploration doesn't mean the first phase. Exploration phase for me doesn't mean not taking action. It means taking actions that are concerted. Yeah, you get advice for, but do not go to school in real estate for 4 years before doing your first move. I was just putting together the statistics of Kingston for the Kingston Investors Club meetup tonight. And I was looking at the increase in price value for residential real estate over the last 10 years. And the average increase rate is 8.5% in Kingston. Of course, it's
Wow.
not equal. The first 5 years are slower, and then there's a huge steep slope 2019 and on, and then it's stabilizing. But overall, if you started real estate in Kingston in 2015, simply becoming an owner of your own house, or buying your first duplex, live in the basement or live upstairs, or any other activity in real estate, even buying land, you basically have doubled your money and more because of the 8.5% per year average increase. So I think the build phase is identify what is the opportunity in your market that you can capitalize on. Surround yourself by experts. Could be a real estate coach, business coach, a realtor, of course, a good lawyer, accountant, fiscalist, and all those pieces and that power team that we call in real estate that will allow
Mhm.
you to grow the right way in the right direction and not waste time. That will be the phase two. If you take analogy of my life when I was in Gatineau, Ottawa, when I stood up continuum, we basically stood up continuum by taking opportunities that were allowing us to generate uh, uh, generate capital. We needed to be able to. We couldn't raise as much capital back in the days. We could raise a few $100,000, but not millions, because we had to build the credibility. So we were looking for projects that were relatively shorter term, that will allow us to build a portfolio or build a pedigree, a resume. So we did condo conversion in Quebec City, made the Real Estate Wealth magazine in 2000, I forget the year, 11, I think. We did rent to own. We flipped a few houses. And all those were, for most part, shorter term. It was we were trying to generate or create capital so that we have capital to walk the talk when we reach out to people after that. Of course, in parallel, we had, like I explained a few times, we had the first house that I bought that was just like get me started. And 3 months later, that first sixplex. But that first sixplex ended up being a flip over a few years, if you look at it this way. I basically bought it, optimized it, and I sold it for a market that I wanted to act on somewhere else for the same or more return. So I think building and growing is to, once you have found through exploration which niche you want to develop more expertise, grow a team around, find more deals, then the capital and the credit partners, or even yourself, will have grown to be able to put those four ingredients of real estate together: the deal, the team, the money, and the credit. And then there's basically no limit to what you can accomplish because you have created that confidence within yourself. If you are well coached, you have let your audience or your sphere know about what you are doing through social media, most likely, different platforms. You may have a YouTube channel, you may have LinkedIn that you can post a few professional stuff, things, but you certainly have a Facebook and Instagram where you have the emotional aspects of real estate and high and lows, and people feel like they know you because they've been seeing you on Facebook for 10 years. I have people on my Facebook that I never met, and when we chat, it's like if we know each other, like from when I was 15. But I've known these people in 2013, 15, 18, 20, during COVID. Got a few phone calls with those folks, and I support what they do. I got Rob down south that I support what he does, and and all those guys are back in the West doing amazing in real estate right now. So I think build and grow is once you find your strengths, and once you know your strengths, and once you find your niche and what works within your market, then you just take action. You just push the gas pedal.
That's a great point. I think, stay away from shiny objects and try this, try this, try this. I think it's really important to niche down. It creates efficiencies because you're using the same power team. You understand the market, you understand what you're doing, and get good at it. And then you can grow. Then you can try something, add something else to it. But really to build that credibility, because then when you, like you said, on social media, if you're doing this and you're doing that and doing that, people are like, so what does he actually do? So yeah, it's a very good point, like really niche down. And I love the point, like I'm always preaching this: get out there on social media, get out there before you need investors, before, and build that credibility, build those relationships. Like we met during COVID time. Right.
Exactly.
I remember that. So yeah, I'm the same. I go to conferences and summits, and I have people coming to me go, "Oh, Debbie, I really wanted to meet you. I've never met these people before. I don't even know who they are, but they've been, just kind of crawling the social media. They haven't actually reached out to me, but because I'm out there posting, giving value, sharing, people feel like they really know me. And that's really important. So I really love that point. Now, you said there's more phases. So what would phase 3 look like?
Or let's say that we've built and grown a portfolio. You can say number of doors. You can look at the cash flow you're doing, the capital you have generated. This is very personal because this is based on what you want to accomplish. I summarize phase 3 as optimize and improve. Optimize the projects that you have in the hopper that you're doing or that you have acquired. If you acquired a duplex or a single family home, made a secondary suite, it's now a 2-unit. Can you do a 3-unit? if you bought a multifamily building, have you followed the general rule that increasing your income and diminishing your expenses is the way to grow wealth with multifamily investing? So are you, one, connected to somebody that you can communicate this progress and get feedback, the coach or accountability partner? It could be one of your own partners. But I think there's a lot of reflection and self-assessment. First, of what do you want to achieve? Do you still want to achieve the same outcome? It's not the same thing. Are the projects in your portfolio still what brings you to that outcome? And which project are you going to inject time, energy, of course, and capital so that you can optimize the cash flow, optimize the value so that you can sell it in 1, 2, 3, 4, or never. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which properties will be a legacy for your family? I have 4 kids, so mm-hmm. we're thinking about those things. So to me, optimizing could be divesting a property. But what I mean more here is, have I maximized the performance and the potential of each specific project in my portfolio? Is it time to develop on that piece of land I bought 10 years ago? Is it time to add 2 more units at the back of that duplex because the city of Kingston had changed the rule? You can go up to 4 units per lot. And if yes, what's the cost? Mm-hmm. So doing that exercise, that planning and prepare exercise to see what are the opportunities based on the change of rules, change of bylaws, and our time available. And then prioritize which one will do when. So there's never a dull moment, because time is money, your network is your network. But if you don't take the time to leverage your network to a piece of work, it does nothing. It's an untapped potential.
Yeah.
So definitely. Knowing what you have in your hands, knowing what can be done better. On the improve side, you touched it a little bit, is improving internal processes, delegating tasks that are not worth your worth per hour. Mm-hmm. So it's a good exercise to do, and I recommend people to do this. Take a piece of paper and write down what you do during the week and assess the most money-making activities that you do. Usually they are within your strength or within the system that you are part of. If you're a full-time worker, like when I did real estate for 15 years, and I was basically full-time. And I was a full-time military officer with a lot of obligations deployed in theaters of operations while I had a portfolio with or without a property manager. Okay. And I had partners to assist me. But I basically had to assess, am I going to continue to do that on a daily basis, being a senior military officer, or I'm going to go full-time in being a realtor, investor, coach, teach at university, create moving heroes to be able to support veterans. And the answer was, why am I doing all this? And for who? And that I'm going to say again, why am I doing all this at few levels down? Mm-hmm. And for who? And you're part of the who, but it's not just you. If not, you're just selfish, egocentric, and you won't survive time.
You give up too, because if it's for you, you can easily say, well, I don't actually need that, or not right now. It's so easy to change, definitely if you're the reason why, because and if you make it for other people, then you're all of a sudden accountable and you're going to disappoint them. So yeah, definitely.
I took a quick note here on that subject, and I only wrote 2 sentences for that phrase there. I wanted to gain time back at a certain point.
Right.
Because when I assessed why am I doing all this and for who, I needed time to live the moment with the who I want. And I let you guess, Debbie, who is it with?
Your family.
My family.
Okay? Yeah, your children, your wife. Excuse me.
Exactly. So you do not need to be Warren Buffett or the biggest or the largest. This is not what real estate investing is about. It is a vehicle, a mechanism, a powerful tool to help you access freedom. What is freedom? Freedom of decision, being able to do what you want, with who you want, when you want. So there's a period of time where you need to build and grow. That's why I say build and grow phase. After you explored, after you found who you are and your strengths. But there's a period of time when you need to optimize and improve your processes to free yourself that time and that energy or that space to be able to think. Because if you don't allow yourself time to think about why and for who, you are going to get lost. You are going to get burned out, because burnout comes from doing things that are not aligned with your values or that you lost track of why you're doing them.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So
Because you lose
that improve
you burn out when you don't have the passion.
exactly. And you can still have and I would add you can add the passion. And I was listening to a very good podcast this week, and somebody spoke about okay, you can always find energy for things you love and things that you care about. But if you have one thing, it's okay. You're going to give energy and time for that. But once you start piling up a bunch of things that you really care about, this one and this one and this one and this one, if they all become priority one at the same time, you won't be able to put the level of energy. And when you're going to fail at one of them because you got too many items on the table or balls in the air, if you want to take the analogy, something will fall. And when that thing fall, whatever it is, that feeling of failure will eat 90% of your energy to do everything that used to be a priority one for you, although it's still super important for you. And that's reality that hit me by failing on a few things, by realizing I needed more time to be able to have time for myself, time to think, and time to realign. So that phase, optimize performance of your portfolio or the things, and improve you, your team. It means also divesting and secure what is important for you. I think this is probably the most important phase of a season or getting their investor. And I don't think those phases are linear, Debbie. I think they are in sequence, but you always cycle back.
Yeah, and then maybe, and you can probably do, like when you're building and growing, you could also look at the improving at the same time. So there is overlap, definitely. I think so many people think that if they're not buying, they're not growing. Right? So they're busy, and so they're busy focusing on the next deal and the next deal, instead of, I love what you said, is that, like, optimize what you have. Are you using it to its full potential? Are you getting as many, is there other ways of getting revenue out of this particular property? Like, like multifamily, can you add, washer dryers? Can you, like, all of those kind of things? Definitely, you've already got these properties. Why not work on them instead of busy trying to buy another one, optimize those, and then optimize your systems. There's so many things you can audit these days that you can automate. There are apps that are coming out every day. I love AppSumo. Have you ever used it?
No.
AppSumo is this it's this app, but it has other apps like that are beta apps in there, like that you can get for lifetime use of it. So lifetime license of it for like $29, $79. And they mirror the functionality of expensive apps that are out there, or even new AI generated things. So it's great for when you're looking to optimize and you're looking for an efficient way of doing it, a cost efficient way of doing it. Like there's something called TidyCal that's like $29.99, and instead of Calendly, right? And then you get it's lifetime license to that. So optimizing little things like your calendar and all these things is
Yeah.
awesome way. Because I'm IT background, I love these
Yes.
apps, right? I
Yeah.
love how we can use these apps. There are lots
Yeah.
of free apps out there too to do project management, things like that. So
Mm.
definitely optimize your systems and optimize your properties.
Yeah.
So that's
There's
a
also
very good point.
something that I have learned through the military, and it's being taught in the business world right now, is understanding your energy curve, the daily energy curve, and also the weekly energy curve, and I could say the yearly energy curve. So
Yes.
once you understand your strengths and you understand what you're not really good at, that you can either delegate or get better, and you understand when is a good time to do things. There's a few. I just took the elite real estate course called BOLD, Business Objectives Live by Design. And the second law, and it's the one I added first, is win the morning, win the day. So we're talking, it's midday right now. And I already won my day. What's left to do is appointments, a walkthrough for a property, a final walkthrough for buyers. And it's all light things and meeting people. When this morning was all focused on lead generation, optimization of things, thinking time, win the morning, win the day. And then you take bold action for the rest of the day or the rest of the week. Uh, Having the heavy tasks early in the week when you have more energy, so that when you get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you may be more on the follow-up aspect of things, following up with people following up on tasks that you're already acquainted with, so that your brain is more productive because it's not discovery mode or uh, opening new markets or new discussions with people that you don't know as much. And it's always lighter. And it's more like thanks God it's Thursday or thanks God it's Friday attitude with the military. And then you can be more social Thursday, Wednesday night. Tonight is the Investors Club in Kingston. And it's already started. So I knew I had to get very busy Monday, Tuesday on key money making or key business development or lead generation conversation activities already in the week. So improving it and optimizing it is not always IT driven. It's really on, if it's not in your calendar, it does not exist. Another
Yes.
good
What gets
law.
scheduled gets done. That's my saying.
Exactly. And at the same time, uh, uh, success is simple, not easy. So you need to do the right things. And if they are planned and you execute them, then it makes it more simple. You
Yeah,
still have to do complex things, but in a simple way. So I
definitely.
think that goes with phase three a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I do for myself too. I find that I'm most creative in the morning. So anything that I have to do that's creative gets done in the morning. And then for me, meeting with people happens in the evenings because meeting with people energizes me. So when my energy is lower, that's my time to like, to meet with others and do that kind of stuff. So yeah, I love
Exactly.
that. And but I haven't thought about it, but it's so true. The energy in the week is just as important because we are more creative and busy like Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, but then come Wednesday, that's hump day. We start going downwards. So very, very good point. I love that. So not only schedule things for in the day where in your daytime where you're fresh and creative and plan around that, but then in the week also. That's very true. Yeah,
Yeah.
by Thursday, Friday, I'm like already starting to get in weekend mode. So-
Yeah. And if we go on a monthly basis as a portfolio owner, what happens on the first of the month?
Rent.
What happens on the second of the month?
Back to usual.
Consolidation of the rent
Yeah.
paid.
Yes,
Okay.
paying bills,
Because
start looking at the paying out all those
but
bills.
you receive on the first, you consolidate on the second, and you may have to take or give directions or take action yourself if you manage your own properties for tenants that may have something.
Mhm.
So that's the first step. Now, if you're going to be working with city employees or contractors or different people, they're busy during the week. So when you plan your month, you basically need to plan at least right now 2-3 months ahead. But there are things that you can ask a contractor early in the week, and you may be serviced for the short-term things that if you ask them on a Friday morning, most likely their day won't be able. So you have your recurrent activities from your portfolio, from your investing, from sales. If you're doing sales, like I'm a real estate agent, so I have basically 2 lines of efforts in real estate, helping people understand what it is, coaching my clients, taking action, and leading them to acquisition or getting the maximum value at disposal. But at the same time, I act with them as a coach, as accountability, referring them to people that I know can do the job. So everything I've applied and I'm still applying for my portfolio, I now apply it for clients to give them additional value. At zero additional cost. It just become their expert in real estate to be able to guide them through their journey until they decide that they want to grow again or divest or move on to something else. So that brings another dynamic to the monthly calendar when you start interacting with other people. Real estate is a contact sport. People have their own timeline too, and it's not yours, it's theirs.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'm rebuilding my home after fire right now, so and it's it's quite the journey there. So
Yeah.
so we talked about 3 phases so far. Is there another phase in for
The
that?
last phase that I wrote in my notes was portfolio and capital management. If you have big dreams, if you want to grow a portfolio that is bigger than your means, which means your money and your credit or your team, you're going to most likely start being known for somebody that takes action, because we've built, we've grown, we have optimized, we have explained to people why we bought a property. We bought 2 properties in 2022 and we generated $1 million of equity in each of them. Oh my God, how do you do that? All right. So not everybody wants to be an active investor. And if you are right now an active investor and have been for the last 10, 15 years or 20 years, and you continue to self-assess, improve, why and for who, a large percentage, I won't give a number, will become a passive investor. Yeah. So as much as at 25, 30, 31 years old, I want to own 1,000 doors like Joe. Okay. And you're like, I want to do that. As you evolve in real estate and you reassess why and for who, and if I go back to training in Ontario at the club, I have to go back, and maybe I have to go back probably in 2009 or 10, sitting in a classroom, and just to tell you how much there is money in today compared to the next. We were analyzing the gap of freedom between the pension from work, if you could have one, the RSPs you had secured, the savings, and what was the gap on the monthly income. We still do the same exercise, same teaching today, okay, right? It's life planning. And we were counting $100 of positive cash flow per unit back in the days. So we had to add a lot of units to the portfolio at $100 per month of positive cash flow to come up with $10,000 a month of cash flow, of income I can use to enjoy my life. Now, depending where you are and what you do, it's time 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, potentially 10 times that today, depending on the cost of capital you have, of course. And people are refinancing at higher rate right now. You're refinancing in the same rate that I started with. Okay, so it's not as high. It's even lower now. Okay, so just start. But portfolio management and capital management becomes key. So we have created, like many people, many corporations right now, because we have different avenues, different types of properties for legal protection or fiscal reasons. We have companies. There's flow of capital between companies and there's flow of capital between investors. Coming back to the first chat we had together, Debbie, when I was explaining that we created Continuum Real Estate back in the days, the objective and the vision, the mission was to help family and friends benefit from real estate. The vision is basically what we are right now. We're helping people, we're coaching them, we acquire a portfolio, we have different aspects of real estate that we're tapping into. Some I did partnership with other people because they property manage or they have renovations company, and I didn't develop those segments. I basically partnered with people because I didn't want to put my time into those things. And then there's a realtor aspect to it with a team of realtors that was part of the original vision when we had the divisions of Continuum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting when I took time to think about this, I did the exercise very deeply 2 years ago, that I realized, and especially now that my son, my oldest son, is interested into real estate, started his real estate license. I was at the office and I was looking at him and I was saying, you just made me realize that we've done that for exactly that reason. And I was very emotional that day.
Yeah.
And for me, it is a vehicle that my kids can leverage if they want, because it is available for them. My oldest has a big interest in marketing. It's a platform for him to practice his marketing skills. Being a real estate agent, being a portfolio manager, being any part he will want to do in the business for as long or not as he wants, as long as he has a chance to be in exploration mode and learn the basics, phase one, with something that we have prepared at least for them. And this is offered to each colleagues or clients of mine or just people listening to that. So basically, that's managing the portfolio and managing the activities. At this time, I am looking at what am I going to divest? Because if you look at what we have acquired since between 18 and 22 was where we acquired, well, probably between even 2019 or 20 to 21 and 22. We acquired 90% of the portfolio that we currently have there. We had some from legacy, liquidated some out of town somewhere else, and we basically bought a lot when the market was assessed as adequate. We bought a lot of secondary suites conversions projects, which we did. Now a lot of them come to term after 5 years. Keep, convert into triplex or quadruplex, or sell. Okay, so I'm doing the exercise for each property, looking at the mortgage statements, amortization, when is the term due, and what is the next step. Now we're still acquiring another multifamily closing in April.
Okay.
And that does not stop. But there are smaller projects that now we're assessing. Are we going to keep, sell, or improve on it? And then we're back to phase 3. So that exercise is important. And we have capital partners that some of them, they tell me, I do not want my capital back. You help my retirement. You
so
help me with my retirement.
Reinvesting it. Yeah.
Keep reinvesting, or some I give a monthly payment, especially family and friends, because this is exactly why they took this up. At the age that they are at, I don't want my capital. Just give me the interest. You just completely changed my life. I stopped talking about the price of gas for a bit, and I can plan my next trip for the summer because of the extra few $1,000s I'm getting from my money working for me because of you and your team. And this is why and for who, again. So this is a bit of the fourth phase, portfolio and capital management, to be able to have the right amount of reserves, the right cash flow, to be able to provide that service to family and friends or accredited investors. It's 3 buckets that we can operate with. Now, lately, we started to do a bit more of shareholders because we have tackled larger projects. And we gathered, again, friends, but we created corporations with them.
Right.
So we're done with joint ventures. And that's the 5-year goal plan execution. Now it's more about what we can acquire solo or as shareholders of a corporation. It's way simpler in my opinion, but the project has to be of a size that it's worth
it, definitely.
Investment, of course.
Yeah.
I think that summarizes the 4 phases. Yeah. So, I think the 4th phase brings the holistic approach to the whole, basically.
To the whole process, definitely. Yeah. And like you said, it's cyclical. So you may be in, hit one phase, and then that phase results in you having to step back and look at some of the other ones. So I mean,
Exactly.
life, we're not in a bubble. We're not in a
No,
microcosm. So life changes, and regulations changes, all these things,
yeah,
government, things like that.
yeah,
You get major life changes where you
yeah,
may need to relook at some of that, definitely too. So
exactly.
let's get a little bit back to you before we wrap up. You've got all these roles that you're playing. You're a realtor. You're doing the heroes, stuff, the moving heroes. You've got your family. You're doing your coaching. How do you balance all of this?
I am very privileged to be surrounded by very smart people that have been in my shoes before and I care. Being veterans, senior veterans, being senior coaches, senior real estate agent that had a lot of success. Uh, when you pass the threshold of having enough, you can continue to be rushing for more, or you can reassess, like I was saying, what's important for you, and where do you put your eggs or where you put your time. So right now we're planning the family trip, but we're not planning, we're executing in a week. So we're going to go to Costa Rica.
Nice.
And it's a time that we usually secure late fall. Europe, you saw it last few years ago, we've done Europe and Costa Rica. Now we're going to focus on that. So why do I specify that specific one? Is that more and more we secure the holidays first. And I'm not saying vacation, I'm not saying time off, because I am always on or always off at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
because I am retired from my former job. I have a portfolio that could be totally passive if I want to delegate, or I have a team of realtors that can serve clients. But the objective is not to do nothing. The objective is to spend my time for the yearly cycle of what counts the most. So basically, my secret is to identify what's important, secure family time first in the calendar. So if it's not in the calendar, it does not exist. It includes annual vacations. It includes kids' schedule. It includes, most likely, and we're trying to, time for myself, time to train, time to think. And it's probably the hardest part, because we're always going to give up on a bit of what is
Definitely. It's
for us.
so easy to give up on
Yeah.
ourselves, part. Yeah.
Time for date night. Okay. It has to be something written or it won't happen. And that's for personal. When I look at, for example, when I was reached last year, you want to teach at the university, we'd like you to be a marketing coach, business coach, and veteran in residence for the program for veterans called Mission Entrepreneur. I said, yeah, yes. It took me 5 seconds, did not have to talk to my wife about it, because it fits within the ecosystem and the objectives that we've set. Owning a portfolio, having the additional revenues, helps me and my family and friends benefit from real estate. Selling houses and helping people buy houses, buy and sell, and invest helps these people do what I did and benefit from real estate. At the same time, finally, because I'm licensed for the last few years, I'm paid for it. And I don't need to use a third-party realtor to do it. So being a realtor is only, now I give myself access to use my knowledge and be paid for it.
Mm-hmm. You
And based
also
on the
get insights
reviews,
into what's available before everybody else does.
exactly. And based on the reviews so far, I'm doing a good job. All right.
Awesome.
So you see that, and then I have more tools, I have more access, I have more knowledge that gives me opportunities to speak, to educate, and to meet people that teach me as much, if not more, because it's a sounding board. If I will not be in that ecosystem and connecting with people like you, with listening to different podcasts, or being surrounded with meetups, we still do physical meetups right now. People ask us, why don't you do online meetups for Kingston Investors Club? Because we want people to come and connect in person.
Yeah, there is definitely a different energy, than virtual.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at what I'm doing, family man, realtor, business coach, real estate business owner from different corporations, holding, and we have partners and moving heroes. What is moving heroes? Basically helping veteran realtors across the whole country and the US to serve clients that are first responders are getting a top 5-star service and support when need be to get service and buy and sell and invest in real estate with people that share the similar values to us.
Mm-hmm.
A portion of those proceeds is giving back to either charities or families in need in different various forms. Supporting local, being sending a rugby team from the high school to Scotland to play rugby, supporting hockey, sending a few dollars to a family that we see on social media that with friends and network that is going through a flood, fire, just a bad time. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes $70, $1,000 changes a life. It's not the amount, it is that they realize that somebody cares.
Here's definitely, yeah.
And Moving Heroes has been doing this since 2021. I have the opportunity to be director general with a network of realtors, but it's basically a network of first responders, military, law enforcement, everybody in uniform, educators, health services that have a chance to join a family in a community that have a common objective to leverage part of the proceeds of real estate to be able to support families in
To
need.
give back. Yeah, definitely. And I think this is the really important part of when you're thinking about your strategy. How can your strategy help, achieve the things where you want to give back? What's your passion? A lot of people in their vision boards say they want to give back, and they think that when I achieve X amount of money, then I will be able to do this to give back to my community. But you could build it into what you're doing and find ways of doing that to give back as you go.
The reason I stood up Moving Heroes, and I have a piece of paper when I was brainstorming on different names to give it, there's probably 25 options on the piece, moving something, or I went through names. The reason I realized I had to go nationwide is because giving 10% of my own proceeds locally will provide a few $1,000s to people. But I was limited to what I was making. So I realized, what if I do like in real estate? You buy a house or you buy 100, you have more revenues and you cannot give with an empty cup. So what about I fill my cup, Robin Hood of real estate, through real estate transaction, cover part of the proceeds from the realtor referral program and my own production or my team in Kingston and cover part of that money and be able to be a charity leg for epilepsy, for kids, for different charities that either the client or the network of realtors or just my community is asking for, and be responsive when other mechanisms takes longer and people are suffering until they get support.
That's very inspirational, Martin. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, we could talk forever, but we're running out of time. So, 2025 is approaching very quickly. What's next for you?
What's next for me is to do less better. Says the guy that is tackling 5 different lines of effort within a strategy. But within each of these lines, there are tasks that I do not need to be involved with and that I can decentralize. Having a chat with a real estate agent from Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu yesterday. And I said, okay, it is time that we start building the ambassadors and delegate a role to the ambassadors we have in different cities. The enthusiasm at the end of the phone was pretty high. Said, let's talk again. I'm giving you the key nuggets. Just let me know how you see it and let's evolve this thing together. That's only for Moving Heroes. Same thing for the team in Kingston about the realtors. How can we grow? You have 3% taking their courses right now that want to join our team. How can we help them strive in real estate as new realtors? Same for the portfolio. But I would say my aim is not to be rich in dollars of portfolio. The aim is to be fulfilled because at 47 years old, I am successful. And I'm seeing this online. It's not to be big head. No, because I assessed why I'm doing this and for who, and I'm doing that.
Yeah,
And this
if
to
you're
me is
achieving your
success.
why, that's your success. It's not about dollars and cents. It's about,
Exactly.
yeah, definitely.
And I hope that everybody listening to this podcast can do the exercise and come up in a few days or a few weeks or a few months or a few years and say, you helped me define success early and I'm working towards there and I feel good about it. And you will fail, you will change your approach, you will adapt because each time you plan, you start, the plan doesn't work. But the thinking you did during planning is what will help you adapt and adjust and mitigate the risks attached to taking action.
Mm-hmm.
And just don't stop taking action. Feel free to reach out if you need to have a quick chat. I'm always happy to meet new people.
Awesome. So we will share and we'll edit into this video your contact information, Martin. So we'll share all your different means of contacting you and your handles. You have a freebie to give away to the listeners?
Yes, as a business coach and teacher, I have taught to business classes. I was invited to teach to business students taking business degrees. And I've put together a introduction to real estate and personal branding package. And the two go together. If you do real estate on yourself and do not have a personal brand while doing it, then you don't really know yourself because branding yourself to yourself is part of the success. And then once you have defined who you are, what are the values behind your activities, and you start sharing it to your family, to your friends, and to your network, then people understand your values and can become an ambassador of yours. You can be invited to a podcast, you can change lives because you have branded yourself for who you are, not only what you do.
Excellent. So we'll share how they can get that package from you. You know, as Martin says, he's available. Reach out. He loves to connect with others. So thank you so much, Martin, for your time. Really appreciate it. With all the things that you're doing, you know, I know your time is very precious. So I appreciate that you've come on here and sharing your knowledge with all our listeners. If you like, for everyone, if you like this podcast, just remember, you know, hit the like button and subscribe because we have many more great people like Martin just sharing their stories, sharing their ideas, sharing their strategies that can help you create that personalized real estate investing strategy. As Martin has been talking about, each of us are different. Each of us have a different amount of money, different goals, different why behind things. You know, we want to create that, but getting ideas from other people really helps that. You know, I will listen to something you say, I need to add that, or I need to do that, right? So it really helps having all this input. So thanks so much, Martin, and you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, Debbie, and good luck to everyone with your next endeavors.